short ones, Minister. They're very brief. Did you state, and maybe I picked you up wrong, that you signed off on an environmental grant in forestry? Maybe I picked it up wrong. Can someone elaborate, and again, in listening to you, that there's something about 10 hectares of a mix? Is it of hardwood and softwood? Is there something in the pipeline there that you can do without a licence? And under the new REAP scheme, as Minister for, or Junior Minister for Agriculture, in the new REAP scheme, can you go into forestry and not be penalised for using a piece of the land? Them are the three questions. Lambert.
Yes, Chair. From Deputy Sherlock's wonderful contribution. Filing system since 18. I would have mentioned about timelines.
I think the environmental grant we have, we're running. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to pass to Barry on that.
Yeah, I won't take long, Deputy. Yeah, so Working Group 4 of Project Woodland is trying to implement the McKinnon report. We're seeking an environmental grant. They've worked through a proposal there. We're still trying to get that over the line. In the interim, we've agreed to pay at Form 2 to pay environmental, additional payment for environmental services at Form 2 stage. In addition to that, we're trying to reduce the environmental cost burden on applicants. So, in other words, at the moment, for those files in the backlog, we're going to do the habitats map for them now with the additional ecology resources we have, and that'll take a financial burden off the applicants as well, as we're doing that. So until we can get to that final phase of maybe into the programme of 2020. 2022, sorry, in terms of the new forestry programme and incorporating that environmental grant. But at the moment, yes, the Minister's correct, we will be paying at Form 2 stage for environmental grant. But as well as that, it's the non-grant. When planted, when it's planted, and but obviously the discussion was around the timeline it takes to get from the point of application and carrying that burden. So for those files in the backlog, we're now going to do the habitat maps, and there's very few NAIs required now. It's only about 3% that are required. So again.
Did you mention something about?
You mentioned it when you were out. It was just in terms of we're engaging very closely with the Department of Housing, looking at drafting legislation as soon as possible.
And is that without a licence?
Basically, there's a dual planning requirement for if this is under the RUS, is it? Yeah. So if you're converting basically a deciduous or a conifer, or sorry, to conifer, you actually need planning permission plus a licence.
And reaps are like a.
I mean, reap. I mean, at the moment. Any trees that are planted on land.
No. But I'm saying if you want to plant, if I go into Glas at the moment, or went into Glas in 2016, and I met and I went to go plant, and then, well, if I was using that ground, I paid the whole thing back. We highlighted it here, everyone did, in fairness, at committee, that in the new environmental schemes, and indeed the new CAP, and what is the story on that? If I have my farm in reaps, and then I decide that I'm going to go down the road and plant 5 or 10 acres, and as part of that scheme, am I going to be paying back? That's all I want to know.
I think it's something we are working on, and it is something we're cognizant of. I mean, I suppose it is fair to say that, I mean, since I don't even know the date, but even trees that are planted, farmers are still in receipt of their BPS payment under that area. Whereas previously, that was removed from the direct payments. But look, it is something we are following up on. So whenever we have information, and certainly, look, I suppose, look. To Deputy Sherlock, I think it's totally unacceptable that your constituent has had that, and I'm sorry for her. I'm sorry that is the situation she finds herself in. And look, you've given us the details, and as you say, you've written to me already, so I certainly will, and we'll see what we can certainly. But I think that's just unacceptable. It really is, and I know it's probably one of the more extreme examples, but that doesn't excuse it. It's unacceptable that is happening. And I think in terms of Senator Lombard's statement on the timelines, look, I think we certainly need timelines in terms of when we get back to people and get back to people with the information, not just I don't know or we'll let you know. But I think I just don't think we can't timeline you're getting your licence if we haven't pulled our socks up. That just can't be done. We'll just be dragged in front of the courts. But we should be timelining the length of time for decisions. So even just be honest with people, saying, look, to be honest, your licence is either not a hope or it's too far away from where we need it. It's going to take another 6 months to process. I think a bit of certainty here is important, that we look into that and deliver a little bit of certainty, because there's nothing worse than uncertainty. And I think that's.
Back to the committee on the reaps thing, to give us a reply
Yeah,
back
I'll certainly get a note to see where we're at.
To clarify whether a farmer, if they decide to go into forestry, won't be penalised. That's all I want to know.
Okay, well, we'll pull
For
that
the
together. I'll
committee
get
to-
that sent on to the
Thank
committee.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Minister.